Hey everyone, welcome to From the Depths. I'm Menti, and this is episode 227 of the Battleship Brawl's Season 3 tournament. This episode, we've got the Battle Banana, the Kifaru, by myself, which we're going to be seeing a lot of because it's the only vessel left that hasn't been retired or isn't guaranteed retirement. So, yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of that for the rest of the tournament, probably, unless it loses the next two battles, including this one. Going up against the Weenormous by the Jimmer. I believe, the Weenormous has 9 battles under its belt, so it will retire after this, no matter how the battle turns out. So let's go ahead and get this underway and see if my slapdash of a ship can actually do something this time instead of just getting pounded into the dirt. Oh well, the water, I guess, would be a more accurate. Nope. Shells missed a little bit there, but so did the Weenormouses. Volleys back and forth. Landed a hit there. Return volley. Hits the bow. Kifaru is aiming really low. That low freeboard of the Weenormous is doing tons to protect it right now. Oh, and the Kifaru just shot itself. And one of its barrels is damaged. You can hear it firing away rapidly over there. Ooh, but it seems to have found a good range, but it's not quite able to penetrate deep enough to knock out any of those guns just yet. Kifaru at 86%, Weenormous at 93%. Ooh, that hit looks like it took down the gun there. This return volley, ooh, blew up the stern of the Kifaru. That knocked off a lot of its propulsion. Probably about half, maybe a little bit more. And the Kifaru shot itself again. Well, that shell looks like it's going to go, well, no, apparently it has that slow of a muzzle velocity. Oh, no, it went way over. Never mind. Kifaru needs to do some turning. It's getting awfully far away. But it lost a lot of its rudders, too. Not all of them. It does have some up here in the front. But it really needs to pick a direction and get that weak rear armor away from the Weenormous. It's not supposed to be getting shot from back there. On that overhang there, absorbing a whole bunch of damage. Unfortunately, not all of it from the Weenormous. Oh, and it seems like this gun has been disabled as well, so only that frontal cannon is still functioning. And those shells fell way short. I don't know what it is with this ship and its incredible inaccuracy, but it sure does like to miss. Granted, the Nagome like to do that too, so. Oh, it seems at this range the Kifaru's gun can't elevate enough to actually fire, and I think that last gun, nope, it's still, it's not even getting close. What are you, is it really calculating water skips? Because those shells actually got close when they skipped off the water. And they would not have hit if they hadn't skipped. Like, what the heck? Oh, Kifaru well under the water. Oh, well, one of his rear guns is still functioning. Oh, and the front gun got blown out. So, nope, looks like this is going to be another loss for the Kifaru. But I'm not surprised. This thing was silly. And I'm still annoyed at myself for painting it in fleet colors and completely forgetting that it was going to turn into a banana or a, I don't know, a strawberry, depending on which team it was on. Well, it hasn't given up, even though it's pretty much a futile effort this time, or at this point. I mean, yeah, it's lost so much buoyancy in the back here that its rear gun that is still functioning is well under the water and not really able to land shots. I'm surprised this thing's still floating at all. I mean, it's lost pretty much all of its buoyancy. Except, you know, what's provided by... Oh, it looks like this... No, this compartment is breached as well. It's flooded. Yep. So, all that's really keeping it up is all this wood in the front. Oh, and there it goes. It must... Oh, nope, I got an 80% sinking. So, there it goes. This battle is over. The Kifaru has lost. The Weenormous by the Jimmer is victorious. And we will be doing a quick cut here to take a look at the ship and send it off for Hall of Beauty voting. Okay, folks, so here we are, the Weenormous by the Jimmer, which is apparently a very shaky, jittery ship when you're sitting on it. It actually doesn't control via AI. I'm not entirely sure what how this ship controls itself. It's probably done by turret, like maybe, let me see what this, okay, it's got, that's air pump control, okay, so it's got air pumps to alleviate things, but it just kind of sails and does its own thing, so there's not really much I can do about the jitters here. Aesthetically, not a whole lot to look at. It's got a bit of this curtain shape here on the outside. Got a, you know, a bow that comes together, triangle shaped. This little overhang thing, which is, that's kind of cool. It's just a little bit of armor that protects this underside part from being hit a little bit. You have to come in at a pretty steep angle to hit that. It's an absolute wall of propellers on the back. Let's see, how fast does this thing go? Yeah, it's it jitters up to, like, it says 19.5 max speed, but it definitely hits 20 there for a second. But it's a little jittery. It's kind of hard to tell exactly how fast it goes. And but it does have a pretty sharp turn radius. Like, it turns hard when it does turn. It just kind of rattles everywhere. But it doesn't really turn like that. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, this thing is a little shaky. I don't remember it being like this when I inspected it for the submission into the tournament. So something must have changed in a game update or something, I don't know, because it is very, very jittery and rattly, and I'm not sure I would have accepted it back then if it was like this, but I don't know. Whatever the case, I'm not going to disqualify it now. But something seems off about it. I don't know what it is. And I don't remember it, like, because I would have been concerned by how much this is shaking and jittering, because it's definitely not, especially when you do the turns, that is not at all what I would call smooth. Not even close. So I don't, like, something must have changed or happened or something weird is going on. Because I check the turning rate of every vessel. That is something I made sure to check on every single thing, and something like that, and like it doesn't turn to the right at all, and that's just excessively shaky. But like I said, I'm not going to disqualify it now. It's going to go into the Hall of Champions. I think something must have changed with a patch or something. I don't know, because I definitely would have been concerned by that during the inspection. But anyway, enough about that. Let's go ahead and move on to the armor of the Weenormous here, which uses a lot of wood. It's a thick batch of wood backed by metal with some space here. And then some more metal, and then the turrets. So I got some stone in some places. What is that just? Oh, that's just the deck. Okay. Didn't want to make it out of wood, but didn't want to make it out of metal either. Apparently. Okay. Got these end-on beams here as well, but those are in the no, those are right here. So. Ah, okay, I see. The side-on beams are up here in that little overhang part. The end-on beams are underneath to provide, so if any shells hit up here, the explosion will come down and it'll hit these end-on beams, and it takes a bit more damage to take those down than they would if they were flat-on. If they were... Why can't I... There we go. Let me get out of that mode. So, if they were like this, instead of like this, you know, like this, like they are, they would be a lot easier to destroy from explosions that impact up here. And since this is the thinner part of the armor, that's probably a wise decision there. But given that it's almost entirely wood with a little bit of stone mixed in here and there, and metal as well, I would have to say it's fairly light armor overall. I mean, it's thick, but the armor itself is weak. Like, it'll do a really good job of spoofing penetration depth and time after impact shells into detonating into some place that isn't all that useful. But the armor itself, whoops, is not particularly strong. It's thick, but not durable. So it's... I would classify it as light armor, but on the heavier end of the light spectrum, I suppose. Kind of. It's like you've got the Coastbuster on the lightest of the light section, and then you've got the Weenormous here, which is probably on the heavier side of light. Maybe medium. I could maybe call it medium armor overall, just because of how it is constructed. With because you've got all this space here, so penetration depth shells come in here, and time after impact shells will likely detonate either inside the armor here or inside this space, in which case they won't do a whole lot of damage, like significant damage, you know. So I'll give it medium. Like, it's on the very, very light end of medium. It's got a lot of propellers. And then it has 12 guns, all single barrel with minimal turret caps. ahead and build just the right length so they don't clip into each other. Let's go ahead and save one of these bad boys here, and they only cost 5,000. Interesting. They are rather cheap weapons. Okay, let's enough with the shaky. That's getting old. Come down here, get my weapon test platform out. Which, no, as you can see, I still haven't remembered to save it without a oh, there's a beam saved. Oh, that's the turret block. Okay, that was weird. Okay, whatever. It worked. All right, let's go ahead and get off this jittery thing before somebody gets motion sick. All right. So let's go ahead and clear out the barrel. What's the reload time on this thing? It's a 1585 with a 16-second reload. Ew. Okay, oh, and one of these, this gauge increaser is not connected. There's 3,000 kinetic, 12,817 explosive damage, so they're pretty heavy hitting explosive shells. But yeah, this gauge piece right here is not connected. Got the laser targeter cut it off. So, oops there. Got the Tetrising going in. I imagine it's just ammo and explosives. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to see on these guns. They're pretty small, very cheap, but they hit pretty hard. But that reload time that's 16-second reload time for a less than 1600 millimeter gauge is really, really bad. That's a really slow firing gun. Yeah, and it only costs 5,000, which is fairly cheap, but for what you get out of it, I feel like it's not the most efficient of weapons. Because it's a 16-second reload and only explosive damage. I mean, it's a decent amount of explosive damage, but I don't know. It feels like going with a smaller gauge and more ammo boxes over high explosive pellets would have been more effective. Just because you get more shells downrange, and that would do more damage overall. But anyway, let's go ahead and clear the barrel and fire it at the little armor mock up there. And see how it does. Which I imagine it'll probably do some pretty significant damage. That's a lot of explosive power. Oh, forgot to turn off the repair tentacles again. But yeah, it blew a hole in it. Yeah, I don't think it really got back to the heavy armor much at all, but it definitely blew a hole in it. Wait, what's the radius on the thing? Let's does it have the full, what is it, 22 meters you need in order to have full damage through the whole radius? Let's see. 35.8, so yeah, it does full damage, so I'm sure it did do some damage to these heavy armor blocks, but it's a dual layer heavy armor beam. You're not going to do much damage to that with explosives. But yeah, it blew a decent chunk in there, and 12 of those, you know, hitting all in the same area will definitely do some damage. But that 16-second reload that's just too long. Way too long. Anyway, if you think the Weenormous deserves a place in the Hall of Beauty, go ahead and upvote the comment saying to induct it down below. If you don't, upvote the comment that says don't. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the battlefield.